This is the 4.3 day 1 homework. Okay, so we had to do A, B, and C for each of these. So where is it equal to 0? So here's y of 0. So it's equal to it at x equals 1/2. Where is it less than 0 for part B? So less than 0, all of this is less than 0, and all of this part here is less than 0. This is greater than 0. Okay, so this part here would be from -infinity. And it looks like our asymptote here is at 0. Okay, it's also from 1/2 to positive infinity as well. Okay, and then part C, where is it greater than 0? Okay, so the asymptote's here at 0. So 0 up to 1/2, right? So all those x's right in there. Okay, for number 5, where is it equal to 0? Right here at 0. Where is it going to be less than 0? Okay, so there's an asymptote horizontal right here at 0, so this isn't going to go negative, and that's not going to go positive. Okay, so it's going to be 0 down here from here to here. So from -2 up through 0. And then it goes positive, and then it's negative down here again. So from the asymptote of 2 all the way through infinity. Okay, so part C is where is it above 0? So this is all above 0. So from -infinity all the way up through -2. And then also from 0 to 2. Okay, number 6. Where is it equal to 0? It looks like right here at 0. Where is it going to be less than 0? So right here is less than 0. Here's less than 0. Okay, so this one would be from -infinity to -1. And then from 0 to 2. Okay, where is it a greater than 0? So both great 0 here and here. So from -1 to 0. And then from 2 through infinity. Okay, so that's 4 through 6. Okay, number 14, we want to multiply by the least common denominator. And if we look at this one, this can be factored into 2x plus 1 and 2x minus 1. Okay, so I'm going to multiply everything by 2x plus 1 and 2x minus 1. That will cancel both of those out. That will cancel one out, and that will cancel the other one out. Okay, so when I do that, both of these cancel out, so I'm just left with 8x. Okay, equals, when I multiply here, the 2x plus 1's cancel, so I'm left with 3 and 2x minus 1. And then here, the 2x minus 1's cancel, so I'm left with 3 and 2x plus 1. Okay, now I just have to solve this. So distribute stuff through. Add your like terms together, those cancel. Okay, if I subtract that over and divide, I get 0. And then remember, we always have to check, does it work in my domain? Okay, if I put 0 in here, whatever give me 0 in the bottom? Nope. So 0 is an okay answer. We got our solution. Number 16, we got to factor the denominator, so factor out an x and factor out an x. Okay, and then what do we have to multiply by to get rid of the denominators? We'll have to multiply by an x minus 2, and an x minus 1. Okay, so if I take this times this one right here, I'm left with 2, and then these two cancel, and then the x minus 1. And here, the x's cancel, the x minus 1's cancel, I'm left with the x minus 2. And these times 0 is still 0. Okay, just distribute through and solve them. add the x over to the other side, I get x equals 4. Now let's make sure they work. 4 squared minus 4 would still be 4 squared. Yep, they're all good. So 4 is the correct answer. Number 18, nothing to factor in the denominators, so what do I multiply by? I'm going to multiply by x squared. Okay, because that x squared will cancel out with that x, and that cancel that out there too. Okay, so if I multiply through, x squared times 1 is x squared. Okay, minus, okay, x squared over x is just 1x on the top, so minus 3 times x. And here, x squareds will cancel, so just minus 10. And x squared times 0 is still 0. Okay, so in this time I have a quadratic to solve, so I can solve by factoring. Or you could use completing the square or quadratic formula or another method, and you get x is equal to 5 and x equals -2. Okay, check and make sure. Yep, they both work. Only the number that would not work is 0. So we got these two answers that will work. Number 20, multiply everything by x squared. So that would make 4x squared. X squared over x is x, so 7 times x. X squares would cancel, so equals -1. Okay, it's a quadratic, so I want to get it equal to 0. And that's not going to factor. So completing the square or quadratic formula, completing square wouldn't be the easiest, but let's go quadratic formula. So we have -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c over 2 times a. Okay, and I'll work that out. 7 squared is 49 minus 16. So I have -7 plus or minus the square root of 33 over 8. 33 will not simplify. That's my answer. That's the total answer there. Number 22, I have to multiply by an x to get rid of that x. I have to multiply by x minus 3 for that. So when I multiply here, x minus 3's cancel, so I'm left with 2x times another x. And when I multiply here, the x's cancel, so I'm left with 4 and the x minus 3. And here, nothing cancels, so it's 6 times x minus 3. And that times 0 is still 0. So I have 2x squared plus 4x minus 12 minus 6x squared plus 18x. Combine my like terms together, that's -4x squared 22x minus 12. Now I like to have this positive, just to see if I could factor it, so it'd be like kind of like taking it to the other side. So it's a positive 4x squared -22x plus 12 would be the same as if you just multiply everything by -1. That is not going to factor, unfortunately. So quadratic formula. -22 plus or minus the square root of -22 squared minus 4 times a is 4 times c is 12. Okay, and then 22 squared minus 4 times 12 gives me 22 plus or minus the square root of 292 over 8. 292 divides by 4. 4 and 72. 73, I mean. So this would be 22 plus or minus 2 square root of 73 over 8. And then if I divide by 2 here in all these, that'll be 11 plus or minus the square root of 73 over 4. And that is the answer. Number 24, negative exponents means this is like 1 over x to the 4th. minus 5 over x squared, because just the x is to the negative exponent, not the 5. Okay, so we know we have to multiply everything by x to the 4th. So x to the 4th cancels out, so I just have 1. X to the 4th over x squared is x squared, so it'd be 5x squared. And that times that is negative 36x to the 4th. And that times 0 is 0. Okay, now if we get it kind of in the right form, say I take this over the other side or just multiply it all by negative 1, that makes 36x to the 4th plus 5x squared minus 1. And that's not going to factor, so once again, quadratic formula. So negative 5 plus or minus square root of 5 squared minus 4 times 36 times negative 1, 2 times 36. Just realize I am wrong with doing this, because this is not a quadratic, this is x to the 4th power. So I can't use the quadratic formula to solve a non-quadratic. Okay, so this actually does factor. If I use 9x squared and 4x squared, need it to be 5, positive 5, so I'll make that a positive 9. And then a negative 4 gives you 5, and okay. Okay, now I need to solve them. So set this equal to 0, set this equal to 0. Okay, if I add the 1 and divide by 9, take the square root, remember the plus or minus, square root of 1 is 1, square root of 9 is 3, so plus or minus 1/3. Okay, here subtract the 1 and divide by 4, take the square root, plus or minus, square root of a negative is I, and square root of 1 is 1, square root of 4 is 2, so 1/2, plus or minus 1/2 I. So there we have the correct answers. Number 26, okay, if we factor the denominator here, that's x plus 3x plus 5. So that's exactly what I have to multiply by to get rid of the denominators. Okay, so if I multiply here, x plus 3 is canceled, so I'm just left with x plus 5 times 1, which is still x plus 5. Multiply here, x plus 5 is cancel, so I'm left with 4 and x plus 3. And here, both of them cancel, so I'm just left with the 2. Okay, so I'm left with x plus 5 plus 4x plus 12 equals 2. It'd be 5x plus 17 equals 2, which means 5x equals negative 15, x equals negative 3. Okay, now once again, check it. Oh, this one doesn't work though, does it? Because negative 3 plus 3 is 0, and I can't take 1 divided by 0. So this one has no solution. That's called an extraneous solution. Okay, there's no solution to number 26. Okay, number 28, this is an interesting one, a little different for you. Notice this would be 3 minus x and 3 plus x, which are just slightly different than this, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to use this little trick. We're going to take out, if we take out a negative 1, this negative x squared becomes a positive x squared, and this positive 9 becomes a negative 9. Now we can take that and factor it to be x plus 3 and x minus 3, which are the same factors as we have over here. And this negative 1, I can just include it up there then. So I'm going to multiply everything by x plus 3 and x minus 3. So here the x minus 3's cancel. I have 2x times x plus 3. Over here those cancel, so I have 4x minus 3. And over here those both cancel, but I still have this negative 1 times the 24, which would be a negative 24 there. So that was a little tricky right there. So 2x squared plus 6x plus 4x minus 12. Combine like terms. Get it equal to 0, so if I add the 24 over there, it'd be plus 12. I'm going to factor out a 2. Okay, and if I solve this, it'll be x plus 2x plus 3. So I have x is equal to negative 2 and negative 3. Now, check. Do they both work? Okay. Negative 2 works, right? That would work with these, but negative 3 will not. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. I can't divide by 0. So negative 2 is my only solution. Negative 3 is an extraneous. Okay, number 30. Remember, anything to a negative exponent is kind of like dividing it. So this is the same thing as x over x minus 2 to the first, which is x minus 2, plus x over x plus 2 to the first. And this would be 8 over x squared minus 4. Remember, x squared minus 4, if we factor x plus 2x minus 2, and that is what I will be multiplying by. So I'll be left with x and x plus 2, x and x minus 2, and they both cancel there to just give me the 8. So distribute. Whoop. I get 2x squared is equal to 8 because those cancel. Divide by 2, take the square root, get plus or minus 2. Now, check them. Do either of them work? 2 doesn't work because 2 minus 2 is 0, can't divide by 0. Negative 2 doesn't work because negative 2 plus 2 is 0, can't divide by 0. So they don't work. There is no solution to number 30.